All right, we're back. Let's do it again. Getting you set for another card. Great action coming up. This time we're going to focus in on the Belmont at Aqueduct meeting coming up this weekend. A lot of great scheduled races. Let's just say they're supposed to be big races, but the Woodward looks like horrible, so we're not even going to deal with that. But there are two races that are sprint races that we think are worth our time. So let's get started. First up is the Gallant Bloom. Yeah, that's coming up from Belmont at Aqueduct on Saturday. 6.5 furlongs in this Grade 2 event. It's race number 8. It's got 9 runners signed on initially. And there's some things to look at here. All right, let's get started. Let's take a look at our pace scenario. We start with our pace scenario, and Senza Parole is obviously the one that has the controlling speed and is going to be dangerous. You saw that debut performance where they were able to sit, going 6 furlongs. Very impressive, right? Nice work there from Chad. Then they had a year, almost a year, like in 1 year and a day was their break, came back, and they were a faster horse, and they got the lead, and they'll probably try and do that again. Now, the situation here is, while we know that horse has speed, I don't expect them to be alone, and basically I expect our Disaster to probably try to get the lead from this runner. Jose Ortiz does a great job on the front end, and this runner has shown that not only can they get the lead, but she can carry it and keep on going. So that's what makes our Disaster dangerous, but she should have the company with the other horse, Senza Parole. And then you have Street View. As we're going 6.5 furlongs, Street View is a horse that's been going a little bit further distance, but I like what they did going 7 furlongs. This is a runner that's probably not going to engage. Like, I don't see Manny Franco as the kind of rider that likes to send and be overly aggressive, but Street View is not going to lose contact with the field. But they don't want to duel with the other Safi Joseph horse. But they're going to be close enough to push things. And sometimes we get a little wrapped up in looking for outright speed horses when we kind of forget that it's not necessarily going to be speed horses that push the pace. Sometimes those pressers from behind keep everything honest on the front end. And I think that's where that horse is going to be. Now, taking a look at the field, and I feel like, okay, 6.5 furlongs. We've got enough speed in here. There's not one horse that gets away. So there's enough to set things up for a runner to make that move, and we get some value. And that's exactly what we're looking for in the terms of the 5 Sterling Silver. Now, this is a runner that had been routing, but I just feel like the turn back to 6.5 from the 1 1/16 and 7 furlongs is going to fit. And I like the way that Junior rides. Obviously, we all like the way Junior rides for Mr. Mott. I just think the turn back is what's going to help this horse quite a bit. And I think there's enough pace in the race. So, Sterling Silver, we get value, we get pace to run at, we get Junior, we get Bill Mott. It's in New York. Come on. Come on. That's where we're going. Sterling Silver is our selection in the Gallant Bloom. But wait, there's more. Then we're going to move on to the Vosburgh. Vosburgh is going to be 7 furlongs. That's going to be on the same card as well. And when we take a look at the runners for this particular race, you know, this is a bit more challenging in terms of handicapping because you have a few more variables. This race, Saturday, it's the 9th on the card from the Belmont at Aqueduct meeting. We get 9 runners here going 7 furlongs on Saturday. All right, so we have a few more speed horses to kind of deal with here, and a few more pressers and just some more class here in this race. But we start with Light the Way. Kendrick Carmouche, Linda Rice. Light the Way is the quickest of the horses here. Not quick enough to get away, but quick enough for us to know, okay, well, we know where you're going to be early on, right? You're going to be out there on the front end. And then we have Super Chow. Super Chow is another horse that has good speed. It's a horse that you can see the horse has been able to sort of sit just off, but I really think they have to engage early on. They have to get involved. And I think that horse is dangerous in terms of, because we know they have to be aggressive, it's the kind of horse that might get away if everybody else is kind of playing little tricks, right? You know, jockeys, they're smart. Sometimes they don't want to get caught up in a speed battle, so they kind of back off a little bit. Super Chow's the kind of horse that if they do that, that horse could get away. I don't think they're good enough to hold him off, but that horse is dangerous. All right, and then we have class. Class in the form of Baby Yoda. And Baby Yoda, you can see the mark there for Belmont at Aqueduct, does very well. Last time out going 7 furlongs, beautiful trip, just sitting just off of it. 7 furlongs is kind of what Baby Yoda wants. They're not going to possess a tremendous amount of early speed, I don't believe. I believe that Ricardo Santana is going to be content to sit back in that second flight of horses. But you can see that Baby Yoda does have early speed, and that makes them interesting and dangerous. But I've just detailed 3 horses that have front end speed and want to be up there on the front end. So now we start getting to the horses that could benefit from that. Mama, that go those men again. Scotland with Junior Alvarado and Belmont. They're going to be in a great spot, sitting just slightly off the pace. You know, Scotland, I think, from that inside post, is going to get a good trip, and they're going to be in the mix. There's no doubt about that. So when they turn for home, you will hear them calling the name of Scotland. But is that the final name that you're going to hear? Meaning the horse that gets to the wire first? I don't think so. I think there's chance for some value, and the horse should get the exact same trip as Scotland. Might be a little bit further back, but Crazy Mason, in my opinion, I think is a great closer, especially going 7 furlongs, and especially here at the track, Belmont at Aqueduct. Last time out in the Forego, maybe a little too far back, because they're going to get similar fractions, 22 and 3, 44 and 4 for the half. They're going to get similar fractions coming up on Saturday. And I'm hoping maybe Manny Franco can get Crazy Mason to be just a little bit closer so they don't have so much work to do. They were able to score in the Grade 2 Carter. Nice job getting there just in the nick of time. But I just feel like the horse obviously wants to sit. They'll have something to run at. You know, Manny making sure to either do one of 2 things. Try to be a little bit closer to the pace, or really be intent on saving ground with this horse. And if he can do one of those 2 things, Crazy Mason is going to be right there in the spot to make something happen. So the only question is he good enough? That's really the only question. I believe he is, and I'm looking forward to the value. All right? There you go. 2, I think, competitive stakes races. Sprints coming up on Saturday, the Belmont at Aqueduct meeting. The rain should be through. There shouldn't be any issues on the track on that particular day. That's the Gallant Bloom and the Vosburgh. All right? All right, that's how we do it here. In the meantime, in between time, until next time here on Horse Race Bets, I'm Ken Rudolph. We'll see you then. Good luck and enjoy whatever you're into.